And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Life from the Inside Out with Kris. We just had a fantastic episode looking at streams of probabilities, and we're talking about value fulfillment. So, if you haven't checked that one out, go back and check out our last episode. And we're gonna have Kris back here shortly and expand on that, I think.
Oh, yeah, he's ready to go.
All right. Bye, Serge.
Indeed, we trust that you are comfortable once again.
Oh, thanks, Kris. Welcome back.
The previous discussion with the tapping is interesting because it showcases some of the underlying principles of consciousness and perception. So, for instance, we could ask you, what if the universe doesn't exist until you look at it, until you look in a particular direction?
All right. It makes it makes sense. It's a little perhaps abstract, but yeah, I follow.
Hmm. By the same token, what if none of life exists until it is part of your awareness? Meaning that you often create more of your own problems than you need to, especially when, and you can experiment with this, anyone can experiment with this. You have a situation that seems to upset you. It could be a small upset, but the more you keep concentrating on it and you allow your mind to ruminate and to dig deeper and to find all sorts of so-called hidden meaning in the actions and the words, it seems as if somehow or other it darkens your entire day and has the potential to darken the rest of your week because that is where you're putting your attention. And that discovery, that recognition that if you allow your state of mind, your mood to persist, you may find yourself in a fairly bad spot. Nothing will go right. Not unlike stubbing your little toe, say, on the corner of the bed. And it seems that every time you put your foot down, you keep stubbing that little toe. So, in a manner of speaking, what you give your attention to seems to be amplified. And many, many of your human problems are the result of the ignorance of this simple, say, rule or law. What you give your attention to persists. What if you stop giving your attention to the slightest little upset, the slightest little thing that sends you over the edge, and instead learn to let things go by? Now, some of you may have been raised in a kind of culture that absolutely no way will you let anything go by because it may mean that you're diminished as an individual, but that is to your detriment because then you will keep having those attitudes that darken your personality, that darken your existence. Now, what if you suddenly realized you are generating the upsetness, the dark mood, simply by biting down on the situation, concentrating on it and making it worse. What if you just backed off? What if you just dropped it and tell your mind you are insisting on a more pleasant state of awareness or state of mind or mood and let go of the one that is causing you distress within moments. Or it may try to say, well, but we're having such a good time. You can reply and say, yeah, but not really. So why don't we try this new thought? Think of puppies and kittens and things of that nature. Of course, we are kidding just a little bit because both of you have puppies. But for the most part, make a concerted effort. This is using your intelligence productively instead of using your intelligence unproductively, negatively. That cultivates knowledge and wisdom. The other way around is basically because you are ignorant of the fact that what you focus on is what becomes. So by focusing on something that brings you a very nice sigh of relief, sweet whispers of pleasant moments ahead, these kinds of things, remove the dark cloud and let the sun shine in, so to speak. So you have those abilities. You have the knowledge to do this. When you don't use it, you are simply operating out of ignorance. Operate from a place of knowledge and wisdom, and your life situation will be more pleasant. No one wakes up in the morning and says, darn it all, I want the worst possible day that I've ever experienced in my life, and tomorrow I want even worse. No one does that. Everyone wants to wake up and have a good day. Work on it. It is available because you create your day by your state of mind or mindset or mood. You have the tools, you have the knowledge. Use it to your advantage. That is value fulfillment in a short, sweet, compressed way. But it is available. You just have to use it. You can pine all day long how you wish you could bite into a nice donut, but you refuse to stop by the donut shop. Make sense?
Yeah, you had to note I'm really hungry right now, so it's kind of rubbing it in, Chris. But no, it makes sense. And I'm always surprised, and I think you were hinting at this, really how fast we can shift that mindset. With the example of tapping, sometimes I'm noticing the response, 1 or 2 points into the sequence. It's a very, I think with, and I think it helps with practice too. Um,
Practice, consistency, and just the knowledge that you have this available to you brings more. When you start thinking that you are helpless, there's nothing you can do with your situation. You may suddenly realize that you feel like you are sliding into a dark abyss. You created the abyss and you're diving into it yourself. So stop before you get to the edge of the abyss, pull back, change your mind. And within a short amount of time, you will recognize that you can breathe easier. that your body is no longer being crushed by the weight of your own fears, because you do not have to live a life centered around fear and ignorance. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I follow.
Indeed. And the process is all very simple. You can again tap on your cheekbones. You can tap on the bone at the back of your ear and head. You can tap on your sternum. 15, 20 seconds, perhaps even 30 seconds. Do a couple of rounds of those. You don't even have to have a setup phrase for this. This is not EFT, but on the sternum, the breastplate. Yes, that will also have a very positive effect. You might even notice after you do one or two rounds. That's it. And once the dark clouds of gloominess seem to have dissipated, everything seems to be brighter, lighter, easier to handle. The vast majority of human beings do not realize just how powerful they are in terms of being able to change their situation. Try it out, have a go at it, and enjoy the results.
All right, I like that idea.
Indeed. Now we will return Joseph to you and happy tapping, or as Lisa Simpson is wont to say, tappa, tappa, tappa.
All right, thanks, Kris. Great episode.
Indeed, we thank you for your consideration and kindness.
Thank you so much.